I'm going to warn you, this video could get a little geeky. We live in very interesting times these days. Over the last couple years, the trend in not only still photography, but also in video has been resolution. We have still cameras now capable of producing extremely high resolution images, things like the Sony a7R III, now the Sony a7R IV. We've got the Panasonic SR1. There's been medium format cameras such as Hasselblad and Fujifilm, which have been producing 50 megapixel cameras. Fujifilm now has a 100 megapixel camera, and then Phase 1 actually have a medium format sensor that does 150 megapixels. I remember when we made the move from SD to HD, that seemed like a big deal. Well, since then we've had 4K, now we have 6K and 8K workflows. And with higher megapixels and more resolution comes a lot more data. And how efficient are our computers at handling this, and how does that affect the speed of our workflow? And many of you know, if you watch my channel, that I have had several setups over the last year that I've been trying to figure out for me what works for a mobile setup. I can't be chained to a desktop all the time, mainly because I travel way too much, and I need to be able to be productive and get work done when I'm out. A couple months ago, I did a video for NVIDIA where I built an eGPU. Right after I did that video, NVIDIA made an announcement for their NVIDIA Studio for creators, which really caught my attention. And essentially what they're doing is they're partnering with software and hardware manufacturers with some new GPUs that they're putting into laptops. And so right now we have the GeForce RTX 2080, and NVIDIA sent me one to check out, and I've done some testing this week, and I want to share the results with you because I'm kind of impressed with what it will do. This video is also sponsored by NVIDIA, who were also gracious enough to send me the Acer laptop that we're going to be using for this demo, which is actually pretty nice. This is the Acer Concept D7, which is one of the NVIDIA Studio laptops, and it features the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2080 with Max-Q design. So I do want to point out, however, not just any laptop can be considered an NVIDIA Studio laptop. NVIDIA actually have requirements on what can be considered, and the Concept D7 not only meets but exceeds most of these requirements. And so first of all, the display is absolutely beautiful. This is a 4K display. It's going to give you much more detail and much resolution than an FHD or 1080p display. This is definitely my preference. This monitor also works in an Adobe RGB color space. Typically monitors will run in sRGB. The difference is that Adobe RGB gives you a much wider gamut, so you're going to have a wider range of colors represented. And this is really important when you're doing critical imaging work. This monitor is also Pantone color system validated and has a delta E of less than 2. I have to say, this is one of the most color accurate laptop monitors I've ever seen. For the testing here that I'm going to do, I'm going to be using my Dell, which is actually not very underspec'd. They're very comparable, the biggest difference being the graphics card. So both computers actually have 32 gigabytes of memory. They're using Intel i7 processors, and they have 1 terabyte SSD cards. Both laptops are also set up with the latest NVIDIA Studio drivers. If you download the GeForce Experience app, this allows you to select whether you want your system optimized for the gaming drivers or the studio drivers, and in this case, both of them are set to studio. So the biggest difference is that the Dell uses the older NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1050 Ti with Max-Q design, which honestly is not a bad GPU. It is actually very solid. The difference being the RTX series is optimized for ray tracing graphics and high-end gaming, things like 8K video. So I really am interested to see what the performance difference is going to be between these two computers. Now, I will say this, these are not scientific tests. I am not one who's really interested in formal benchmarking methods. I want to know, well, there's two things. For one, for me, I want to know, is this something that I'm actually noticing a difference with? And two, I'm not interested in fractions of a difference. I'm actually interested in noticeable differences. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you're going to notice is in Adobe Lightroom. If you're using the newest version, the first time you open it, a little window pops up that basically explains what's going on with GPU acceleration. And this is actually kind of key because Adobe is one of the partners that is working with NVIDIA for putting more into what the graphics processor is actually doing. So this is going to be interesting to see if we can see a real difference. Now, the first test that I did, these are all files that were shot on a Fujifilm GFX 100 that I'm working on a review for you guys. I did a lot of shooting on that. These are 100 megapixel files. And one of the things that you're going to notice is then when you are editing these and when you're zooming in and out, you're going into such a high resolution. Sometimes the first time you zoom in, it's going to give you that little loading sign and then you're going to see the wheel spinning. This is not a scientific test, but I did notice that on the Dell computer with the GeForce GTX 1050 Ti, you're looking at about 7 or 8 seconds before it renders into full resolution. Now there is a noticeable difference when you're on the GeForce RTX 2080, and it's about half of that. It's about 4 or 5 seconds at the very longest. It depends on what image you're opening and what kind of detail is involved, but that's a big difference, and you're going to notice a performance boost when you're just editing images in your regular workflow. Now, Adobe has a feature called Enhance Image Details. Now, this is a feature that is not turned on by default, so when you bring images into Lightroom, it doesn't apply it. The reason that is because it's a little intensive on the graphics processing and can take a while if you're bringing in a lot of images. So if this is something you want to apply, you do it on an image by image basis. You can also do them in sets or batch them. But essentially what it does is when you have a raw image from a camera, so we're not talking about JPEGs, we're talking about raw images, which is what we're looking at here. A raw image literally is raw data, and it's up to the software to interpret that data. And so what it's going to do is it's going to actually write a new file. It's going to be a DNG file, and it's going to apply some algorithms for debayering that Adobe has, which is essentially going to give you better image detail. And so this is something, like I mentioned, and it's a little bit more heavy on the processing end of things. So what I did is I took the same image on both computers and I copied it over a couple times. So I had basically 4 images that are the same. And what I did is I batch applied them to both Lightroom on my Dell and Lightroom on the Acer to see what the processing difference was going to be. This was actually very surprising. So over on the GeForce GTX 1050 Ti, this is on the Dell, it took just shy of 4 minutes to render 4 100 megapixel images. And when you take this over to the Acer, which has the GeForce RTX 2080, these same 4 images just took 41 seconds. So that is a huge difference, and I think if that's something that you wanted to batch apply to a lot of images, you can see that we only did 4 in this case, but let's say you did them to 100, your time to actually process them is going to grow exponentially, but I think the time that you're going to save between processors is also going to save exponentially. And so that was kind of the biggest surprise for me, is how long that took versus how long it took with the new processor, which was absolutely incredible. I think the other thing is we move down the road and Adobe starts adapting its software to cards that can essentially handle more on the graphics layer. I think this is only going to get better. Now, the next thing I want to look at are some video examples. So what you're seeing here are some clips that were taken on a red helium. These were shot in 8K, and they are playing back at full resolution. This is raw video, by the way, not compressed. And this is all being done on a laptop, which I think is pretty insane. I'm using Red Digital Cinema here, which is pretty much taking full advantage of the GeForce RTX 2080 because it has more CUDA cores. And so these clips, as well as the editing software, are all available for a free download on Red's website. I don't actually own a Red, so I downloaded stuff from their website to do this testing with. So I'll put those links in the show description if you want to try those out on your own system. But what's interesting is when you're looking at this, now I did the same test, same software, same clips over on the GeForce GTX 1050 Ti in the Dell, and it's a different story. In fact, you can't even come close to playing back full resolution. There is a drop-down box where you can tell it to play back at half resolution, quarter resolution, 1/8 resolution, or 1/16 resolution, and some of those do work. The way you can kind of see this working on the slower laptop in this case is you can see there's a little loading bar, and basically what this is doing is it's showing you what is being rendered on the GPU as it's getting ready to play it. And so as long as you're rendering fast enough to play back, you can play up to whatever resolution that will have. And unfortunately, it's nowhere near 8K on my Dell machine, but over on the Acer, you can see that it plays back flawlessly. And when you take this into an editor like Premiere Pro, it performs exceptionally well also. I remember it wasn't too long ago when you were working with Premiere Pro in 4K, and the more you would throw at it in terms of layers of text or color corrections or LUTs or anything like that, it would really slow the performance down dramatically, and there was a lot of rendering to be done in Premiere. And with the GeForce RTX 2080, it is a pretty smooth experience, and this is 8K video. I don't typically work at 8K, I work in 4K in my workflow, and so the results are really impressive. And I keep having to pinch myself and realize I'm doing this on a laptop. Like, this is what I would expect out of a really beefed up desktop, but these machines really are impressive. I also wanted to test export times and rendering to see if there was any big difference there as well. Now, I took all of the 8K clips from the Red website, and this entire clip is only 39 seconds long, and so I ran this through both machines as well. Now, what's interesting, on the GeForce GTX 1080 Ti on the Dell, this took about 5 minutes and 27 seconds to render out, and on the GeForce RTX 2080 over on the Acer, it took 4 minutes and 30 seconds, so it saved about a minute. But first of all, you got to remember, this is 8K footage we're talking about here, and when you multiply this up well above 39 seconds of footage, so when you have a clip that's 15 minutes long, 20 minutes long, maybe even a 2-hour film, you're going to, again, it's going to also go up exponentially, but what you're going to save is going to happen exponentially as well. And so, it depends on if 8K is something in your workflow. It really isn't something in my day-to-day. So let's run another test that's something that's a lot more practical. And so this is 4K footage. So I took a 15-minute and 30-second clip, which is actually a final render in ProRes 422 of a video that I put in this channel a few weeks ago. It's 15 minutes and 30 seconds long. And so on the GeForce GTX 1080 Ti, this took 9 minutes and 7 seconds, which honestly isn't bad. I mean, that's faster than real time. I'm pretty happy with that. When I ran it through the GeForce RTX 2080, saved a little more time and came out at about 8 minutes and 26 seconds. Where is all this leading to? Well, in every example that I've showed you, the GeForce RTX 2080 showed a significant performance boost. Now, is this worth the technology for you to get into something like this? Well, it probably depends person to person on what your needs are. Where I think this stuff really shines and where it's going to make a big difference is when you are trying to work, let's say on a laptop, and you're in something that's a pretty intensive workflow. So you're working with 6K, 8K, high megapixel images, and you want to be able to have that kind of power and flexibility in a mobile setup. I think it is incredible. What I'm really excited to see as well is NVIDIA's commitment to this partnership of developing computing technology for creatives. And I think that's something that there's definitely an opportunity there. I think that gaming is obviously one of the popular industries that gets a lot of attention, but haven't seen it in the creative side in a while, and I think this is an excellent step in that direction. So I would love to know what you guys think. Drop me a comment below. I'll catch you on the next video. Until then, later.